There were also a couple of times in February when Julian, Miles, and Henry played tricks on Jack. They didn't play tricks on me, I think because they knew that if they got caught bullying me, it would be big time trouble for them. So Jack, they figured, was an easier target. So one time they stole his gym shorts and played monkey in the middle with them in the locker room. Another time, Miles, who sat next to Jack in homeroom, swiped Jack's worksheet off his desk, crumpled it in a ball, and tossed it to Julian across the room. This wouldn't have happened if Miss Petosa had been there, of course, but there was a substitute teacher that day, and subs never really know what's going on. Jack was good about this stuff. He never let them see he was upset, though I think sometimes that he really was. The other kids in the grade knew about the war, except for Savannah's group. The girls were neutral at first, but by March they were getting sick of it, and so were some of the boys. Like another time when Julian was dumping some pencil sharpener shavings into Jack's backpack, Amos, who was usually tight with them, grabbed the backpack out of the Julian's hands and returned it to Jack. It was starting to feel like the majority of the boys weren't buying into Julian anymore. Starting to seem like everybody's starting to see Julian and really Jack's true colors too. They're seeing who the good side and who the not so good side really is. And that's what will happen, guys, in real life too. So choose wisely who you hang out with and what you say. Then a few weeks ago, Julian started spreading this ridiculous rumor that Jack had hired some hitman to get him and Miles and Henry. This lie was so pathetic that people were actually laughing about him behind his back. At that point, any boys who were still on his side now jumped ship and were clearly neutral. They're in the middle. So by the end of March, only Miles and Henry were on Julian's side, and I think even they were getting tired of the war by then. I'm pretty sure everyone stopped playing the plague game behind my back too. No one really cringes if I bumped into them anymore, and people borrow my pencils without acting like the pencil has some kind of cooties. People even joke around with me now sometimes. Like the other day I saw Maya writing a note to Ellie on a piece of Ugly Doll stationery. And I don't know why, but I just kind of randomly said, "Did you know the guy who created the Ugly Dolls based them on me?" And Maya looked at me with her eyes wide open, and she totally believed me. Then, when she realized I was only kidding, she thought it was the funniest thing in the world. "You're so funny, August," she said. And then she told Ellie and some of the other girls what I just said, and they all thought it was funny too. Like, at first they were shocked, and then when they saw I was laughing about it, they knew it was okay to laugh about it too. And the next day I found a little Ugly Doll keychain sitting on my chair with a little nice note from Maya that said, "For the nicest Augie doll in the world, hugs and kisses, Maya." 6 months ago, stuff like that would have never happened. But now it happens more and more. Also, people have been really nice about the hearing aids I started wearing. Lobot. Ever since I was little, the doctors told my parents that someday I need hearing aids. I don't know why this always freaked me out a bit, because like anything to do with my ears bothers me a lot. My hearing was getting worse, but I hadn't told anyone about it. The ocean sound that was always in my head had been getting louder, and it was drowning out people's voices like I was underwater. I couldn't hear teachers if I sat in the back of the class, but I knew if I told Mom and Dad about it, I'd end up wearing the hearing aids. And I was hoping that I could make it through 5th grade without having that happen. But then in my annual checkup in October, I flunked the audiology test, and the doctor was like, "Dude, it's time." And he sent me to a special ear doctor who took impressions of my ears. Out of all the features, my ears are the ones I hated the most. They're like tiny closed fists on the sides of my face. They're too low on my head too. They look like squashed pieces of pizza dough sticking on top of my neck or something. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating just a little, but I just really hate them. When the ear doctor first pulled me the hearing aids out for me and Mama to look at, I groaned. "Ugh, I am not wearing that thing," I announced, folding my arms in front of me. "I know they probably look kind of big," said the doctor, "but we had to attach them to the headband because we had no other way of making them so they'd stay on your ears. See, normal hearing aids usually have a part that wraps around the outer ear to hold the inner bud in place. But in my case, since I don't have outer ears, they had to pull the earbuds on this heavy-duty headband that was supposed to wrap around the back of my head. I can't wear that, Mom, I whined. You'll hardly notice them, said Mom, trying to be cheerful. They look like headphones. Headphones? Look at them, Mom, I said angrily. I'll look like Lobot. Which one is Lobot? Said Mom calmly. Lobot! The ear doctor smiled as he looked back at the headphones and made some adjustments. The Empire Strikes Back! The bald guy with the cool bionic radio transmitter, that thing that wraps around the back of his skull. I'm drawing a blank, said Mom. You know Star Wars stuff? I asked the ear doctor. No, Star Wars stuff? He answered, slipping the thing over my head. I practically invented Star Wars stuff. He leaned back in his chair to see how the headband fit and then took it off again. Now, Augie, I want to explain what all this is, he said, pointing to the different parts of the hearing aids. The curved piece of the plastic over here, it connects tubing on the ear mold, and that's why we took these impressions back in December. So that this part goes inside your ear and fits nice and snug. On this part here is called the tone hook, okay? And this thing is the special part that we've attached to this cradle here. The Lobot part, I said miserably. Hey, Lobot's cool, said the ear doctor, and it's not like we're saying you're gonna look like Jar Jar, you know? And that would be bad. He slid the earphones on my head again, carefully. And there you go, August, so how's that? Totally uncomfortable, I said. You'll get used to them very quickly, he said. I looked in the mirror. My eyes started tearing up. All I saw were these huge tubes jutting out from either side of my head like antennas. Do I really have to wear this, Mom? I said, trying not to cry. I hate them. They don't make any difference. Give it a second, buddy, said the doctor. I haven't even turned them on yet. Wait until you hear the difference. You'll want to wear them. No, I won't. And then he turned them on. Hearing brightly. How can I describe what I heard when the doctor turned on my hearing aids, or what I didn't hear? It's too hard to think of words. The ocean just wasn't living inside my head anymore. It was gone. And I could hear sounds like shiny lights in my brain. It was like when you're in a room where one of the light bulbs on the ceiling isn't working, but you don't realize how dark it is until someone changes the light bulb and you're like, whoa, it's so bright in here. I don't know if there's a word that means the same as bright in terms of hearing, but I wish I knew one because my ears were hearing brightly now. How does it sound, Augie? Said the ear doctor. Can you hear me okay, buddy? I looked at him and smiled, but I didn't answer. Sweetie, do you hear anything different? Said Mom. You don't have to shout, Mom, I nodded happily. Are you hearing better? Asked the ear doctor. I don't hear that noise anymore, I answered. It's so quiet in my ears. The white noise is gone, he said, nodding. He looked at me and winked. I told you you'd like what you heard, August. He made more adjustments on the left hearing aid. Does it sound very different, Lev? Mom asked. Yeah, I nodded. It sounds lighter. That's because you have bionic hearing now, buddy, said the ear doctor, adjusting to the right side. Now touch here. He put my hand behind the hearing aid. Do you feel that? That's the volume. And you have to find the volume that works for you. We're going to do that next. And, well, what do you think? He picked up a small mirror and had me look in the big mirror at how the hearing aids looked in the back. My hair covered most of the headband. The only part that peeked out was the tubing. Are you okay with your new bionic Lobot hearing aids? The ear doctor asked, looking in the mirror at me. Yeah, I said. Thank you. Yeah, I said, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. James, said Mom. The first day I showed up at school with the hearing aids, I thought kids would make a big deal about it. But no one did. Summer was glad that I could hear better, and Jack said it made me look like an FBI agent or something. But that was it. Mr. Brown asked me about it in English class, but it wasn't like, what the heck is that thing on your head? It was more like, if you ever need me to repeat something, Augie, make sure that you tell me, okay? And now that I look back, I don't know why I was so stressed about it all this time. Funny how sometimes you worry about something and it turns out to be nothing. Via's secret. A couple of days after spring break ended, Mom found out that Via hadn't told her about the school play that was happening at her high school the next week. And Mom was mad. Mom doesn't usually get mad that much, though Dad would disagree with that. But she was really mad at Via for that. She and Via got into a huge fight. I could hear them yelling at each other in Via's room. My bionic robot ears could hear Mom saying, "But what is with you lately, Via? You're moody and taciturn and secretive, and what is so wrong with my not telling you about a stupid play?" Via practically screamed. "I don't even have a speaking part in it." "Well, your boyfriend does. Don't you want us to see him in it?" No, actually, I don't." "Stop screaming." "You scream first. Just leave me alone, okay? You've been really good about leaving me alone my whole life. So why didn't you choose to high school to suddenly be interested? I have no idea." And then I don't know what Mom answered because it all got very quiet. And even my bionic robot ears couldn't pick up a signal. My cave. My cave. By dinner, they seemed to have made up. Dad was working late. Daisy was sleeping. She'd thrown up a lot earlier in the day, and Mom made an appointment to take her to the vet the next morning. And the three of us were sitting down. No one was talking. Finally, I said, "So, are we going to see Justin in a play?" Via didn't answer, but looked down at her plate. "You know, Augie," said Mom quietly, I hadn't realized what play it was, and it really isn't something that would be interesting to kids your age." So I'm not invited?" I said, looking at Via. "Oh, I didn't say that," said Mom. "It's just, I don't think it's something that you'd enjoy." "You'd get totally bored," said Via, like she was accusing me of something. "Are you and Dad going?" I asked. "Oh, Dad'll go," said Mom, "and I'll stay home with you." "What?" Via yelled at Mom. "Oh, great. So you're going to punish me for being honest by not going? And you didn't want us to go in the first place, remember?" answered Mom. "But now that you know about it, of course I want you to go," said Via. "Well, I've got to weigh everyone's feelings here, Via," said Mom. "What are you two talking about?" I shouted. "Nothing," they both snapped at the same time. "Just something about Via's school that has nothing to do with you," said Mom. "You're lying," I said. "Excuse me?" said Mom, kind of shocked. Even Via looked surprised. "I said you're lying," I shouted. "You're lying," I screamed at Via, getting up. "You're both liars, and you're both lying to my face like I'm an idiot." "Sit down, Augie," said Mom, grabbing my arm. I pulled my arm away and pointed at Via. Uh-oh. Think he knows what's really going on here. "You think I don't know what's going on?" I yelled. "You don't want your brand new fancy high school friends to know that your brother's a freak." "Augie," Mom yelled, "that's not true." "Stop lying to me, Mom," I shrieked. "Stop treating me like I'm a baby. I'm not. And I know what's going on." I ran down the hallway to my room and slammed the door behind me so hard that I actually heard little pieces of the wall crumble inside the door frame. And then I plopped onto my bed and pulled the covers up on top of me. I threw my pillows over my disgusting face and then piled all my stuffed animals on top of the pillows like I was inside a little cave. If I could walk around with a pillow over my face all the time, I would. I don't even know why I got so mad. I wasn't really mad at the beginning of dinner, and I wasn't even sad. But then all of a sudden it just all kind of just exploded out of me. I knew Via didn't want me to go to her stupid play, and I knew why. I figured Mom would follow me into my room right away, but she didn't. I wanted her to find me inside my little cave of stuffed animals, so I waited a little more, but even after 10 minutes, she still didn't come to her room after me. I was pretty surprised. She always checks on me when I'm in my room, upset about stuff. I pictured Mom and Via talking about me in the kitchen, and I figured Via was feeling really, really, really bad, and then I pictured Mom totally laying on the guilt, and Dad would be mad at her when he came home too. I made a little hole through the pile of pillows and stuffed animals and peeked out on the clock on my wall. Half an hour had passed, and Mom still hadn't come to my room. Huh! I tried to listen to the sounds in the other rooms. Were they still having dinner? What was going on? Finally, the door opened. It was Via. She didn't even bother coming over to my bed, and she didn't come in softly like I thought she would. She came in quickly. Goodbye.